Struggling to discuss sex and intimacy with your partner?
Not feeling met, seen, or heard in your relationships?
I'm Janelle.
And I'm Andrea. We're two midlife mavericks sharing our own experiences.
Messy AF and no regrets.
With marriage, divorce, polyamory, and pleasure.
We've learned that when you're brave enough to figure out what you want and ask for it,
with partners, friends, family, and most importantly, yourself,
you'll feel more alive and free.
Question everything, especially your mother's advice.
There's no rom-com formula for this, but don't panic.
Being alone matters. Honey, I can't miss you if you don't leave.
What if your breakup could be your breakthrough?
Our podcast is for brave hearts.
Anyone who seeks or has found the courage to confront their fears and limiting beliefs about breaking societal norms in the spirit of finding their truth.
If you're seeking permission to be brave in your relationships
and want to feel less alone along the way, we got you.
Hi, Bravehearts. Welcome to Permission to be Human. I'm Andrea.
And I'm Janelle.
And we're back here post season 5. And as we always now do, we're starting to give you updates about us in between seasons because, boy, things change fast. Life is impermanent and we are always moving and shaking and dancing our way forward. And yeah, so we're in between seasons. Mm-hmm. And first up is Janelle.
Yeah, and when one of the signs that it's an in-between podcast is because we're wearing spirit crowns made by the fabulous Sophie Howell. Here's mine today. And these are pieces of art that are inspired by your higher self. And Sophie is an incredible artist and coach. And you're gonna hear me talk about her today too. But anyway, so
yeah, and you can wear your spirit crowns anywhere you want. If you want to get your own, you can go to spiritcrowns.com. There's all different spirit crowns. No two are the same. And okay, so our updates. What is going on with us? And what's going on with you, Janelle? Where do you want to start?
Number one I want to start with is the Goddess Temple. I have a new housemate. I can't remember if I mentioned her or not. Her name is Arianna. And she has moved in. We actually interviewed her on a podcast in How to Build a Relationship with Self series. Yeah. And she moved in the summer, and she is a sacred sex priestess, as well as a naturopath doctor, as well as a musician, as well as a songwriter, as well as a singer, as a freestyle rapper, as a writer. She is absolutely incredible. I call her the multimedia goddess, and I have really thoroughly enjoyed living with her. And the thing that I have figured out for myself about my living arrangements and how my life is I have had many people that I would call like spirit guides who, as a result of the relationship, it has unlocked a part of me, like in a significant part. So, for example, I would say that my parents unlocked my soul when I was born. My very first deep friendship, Anastasia, she unlocked my sisterhood qualities. My friend Jeannie unlocked my entrepreneur when I worked with her for 15 years. Andrea, you unlocked my voice and my speaking through this podcast. Sophie Howell unlocked my patron.
So, Janelle, can you define patron for me in this context? What does that mean?
Yes. So a patron can be interpreted different ways, but in this way is that my desire to see more art in the world. So Sophie is an artist, so I paid her to commission art pieces for the Goddess Temple. And in that way, I am the patron of the artist.
Okay. Love it. All right. Yeah, so keep going. I think you had some more people you wanted to talk about.
So Dãmsa unlocked my ritualist. Memphis unlocked my heart. Zaya unlocked my legacy.
Your stepson. Spirit son.
And what Arianna has unlocked for me is my artist.
Mm-hmm.
We did a ritual kink theater performance here at the Goddess Temple. It's one of the things that she was really excited about. And I was a yes to, because I'm a yes to most things. But I wasn't sure that I was like super excited about it, but I was like totally willing to participate. But then in the participation, the planning, as well as in the performance itself, I found so much joy. So I was in such radiance. I loved it so much. It was, yeah, just a totally new part of me. You know, I got to get dressed up. There was significance to the performance. There was this ritual aspect to it. So there was like a meaning. I love immersive theater personally. And so this was an immersive experience for the audience. So it just like hit all these different parts of me that I had never considered as parts of me that I love.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. So curious, did you feel like you called in these people that unlocked these different parts of you? Or do you feel like they were delivered to you by the universe? How did they come into your life?
I said it's the same thing. Like whether I'm calling them in or whether the universe is delivering them to me, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree though, because sometimes I don't call someone in and they just appear. And other times I do call someone in and they appear.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's not a conscious calling in. Like I wasn't like, I need a best friend who's going to unlock my sisterhood gene, right? Or like, I need the person like you to help me figure out to do a podcast and open up my throat. So I'm definitely not calling in that way, but my heart is open. And when someone presents themselves, I tend to like feel something. And when that feeling is there, it's just like I'm an immediate yes to whatever wants to unfold.
So I think what I'm hearing with that, which I think is really important for brave hearts, in that sometimes we don't specifically call things in, but I think you're defining calling in as being open-hearted and expansive enough to notice what's coming to you, to recognize the abundance, right?
Yes. Like when I feel really drawn to someone, that is a sign for me to like have my eyes open to what's here.
Beautiful.
And this whole list that I just created only came through a month ago after I did this ritual kink theater, when I realized that my artist got unlocked in the presence of Arianna, who's an artist. And then that had me think back about all these other people. And where I said like, oh, this is what's so exciting about how I've chosen to live, which is at the Goddess Temple with a housemate. And we'll talk more about this actually in our next episode when we talk about relationships. But my living arrangement allows me to like every year or two have someone else move in, and then I have a whole different experience of myself.
Yeah, and this reminds me of an important principle I think we've covered in the past, but just came up for me again, in that while I believe we can't have a conscious and whole relationship with another unless we have a conscious and whole relationship with ourselves, I have had to be in relationship to discover my whole self and to become whole. And so there's a little bit of a trick there, right?
Well, that's beautiful what you just described. And what I feel like is like, oh my gosh, I'm infinite. Because there are parts of me that are yet to be discovered because I haven't interacted with a person who is going to like be the key. Like I'm the key, I'm the treasure, I'm all the things. And yet there is, to your point, in relationship, something else blossoms. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an artist. So like, what else am I?
Yeah,
and
but
that
you don't
will
know.
continue to reveal itself.
Beautiful. Okay, love it.
Yeah. So that's been one exciting thing that's revealed itself in the past few months. The other thing about Arianna is that she's a naturopathic doctor with a specialty in homeopathy. I know nothing about homeopathy. In fact, I don't even know if I've really even heard about it until she moved in.
Hmm.
I don't have a naturopathic doctor. I just I have my OB-GYN and that's pretty much it. And I'm a dermatologist, right? Although I've seen some Eastern medicine, I've done like, I've seen an acupuncturist.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
It is funny. It's very interesting that the woo had not trickled its way into your medical and healthcare world.
Yes. Possibly because I'm overall have been pretty healthy. And when I have had an issue, I've either like it's been resolved or like they've been pretty minimal. Or it's been like a broken bone or like a surgery from a knee. Those were some of the major things I've had.
Okay, got it. Fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, like when I think about like my parents and my upbringing and like what I'm exposed to, my parents and especially my mom had cancer, my dad's had cancer, my aunt had cancer, and they were all very comfortable with the Western medicine. So there was never any debate or should we do something alternative. So I've never really, in a way, questioned it or needed it for myself. And living with Arianna has like opened my world to what feels like magic. Feels like woo. And I'm not even going to pretend to describe homeopathy, but I will say it feels to be a vibrational medicine that is helping heal at the emotional and energetic level.
Can you say that one more time?
It's a vibrational medicine that helps heal us at the emotional and energetic level.
Okay, so what can you give us in a couple of examples of homeopathy in your experience so far?
Well, the one thing I've started taking is sambucus, which is black elderberry. And you take that prior to being sick. So I'm taking it like prophylactically, it's like every day during the winter season to avoid getting sick. And now, of course, like I haven't gotten sick, but that doesn't mean like that's the thing that's doing it. But it feels really like great in my system that, that's all I'm taking is this like little gummy of this black elderberry. And it was also recommended to me by my like friend's mom in the same time frame, who's her father, who lived to 102, took every day. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's a sign.
And then just really through talking to Arianna, like, so then we went to Sprouts, and there's a section at Sprouts that is like homeopathic.
Yeah.
Like what? Like I never walked through this section. I was like totally in a new world. And like for $10, you buy these little things and these remedies. So I actually can't speak to much more than this because she hasn't like prescribed them to me other than it's not true. She muscle tested me. She was like, oh, I'm really getting the sign that you need borax. And so she read all of the symptoms. And I was like, well, the only thing on there is canker sores that I could relate to. And she's like, well, and I was like, but I get really bad canker sores when I get bad canker sores, but especially when I'm on MDMA.
Oh, really? Oh my God. That's so interesting. You always get them like the next day or something?
Yes. And I had just taken that like the week before and my mouth was like covered and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so painful. So somehow she didn't know. And so in the end, she was like, okay, well, I guess you should take this every time you decide to do it.
Yeah, that is so funny.
But more like what is that? All she did was muscle test me. We hadn't had a conversation about it. She went through all the different ones, and that's the one that showed up. So it feels like magic to me. And what also feels really revelatory was what she was telling me is this is why the FDA doesn't promote this. Is that these remedies are essentially $10, right? They're so little in terms of cost that like the pharmaceutical companies clearly are not in favor of this. So it's just opened my eyes to it. I'm not now, I'm like, wow, I didn't know anything about this. So I'm in the process of learning about it. I'm not suggesting everyone leave their doctors to, go into this exact moment, but it's very possible I will. at some point, because what I believe in like what she's telling me and her skill set and her knowledge so deeply that now, instead of her just being the Goddess Temple director of operations and events, which is when she first came in, what I had kind of hired her for, I'm now hiring her for her doctor skills so that she can help our Goddess Temple and Braveheart community of the women and families that are close to us, you included, to help us be as healthy as possible at this energetic and emotional level.
Wow.
So I'll have more to share probably at the end of next
update.
quarter.
Yeah, this is a big update. I'm really curious about the cost because my experience of this kind of supplements is not cheap. So I'm really curious if that continues for you, like the things that you're buying. And I would be curious to see what happens with your flu. Like, do you usually get a flu shot or not?
I used to a long time ago. I've stopped though, so I haven't in a while.
Okay. Yeah. It'd be good to do a A/B test.
I mean, it's gonna. I don't think I can like stake my like stand in the ground on whether I get the flu this season or not. But.
Right. Just thinking about it. Okay. All right. Great. So that is a pretty significant shift in how you take care of your body, and kind of just it more like knowing you're more in choice potentially than you were before.
Yeah. It's what it's revealing to me is this idea of it's not like here's this like physical and here's this like mental, right? But that she's showing me that there's actually this emotional and energetic that she has the capacity to sense, which for me as an erotic wellness practitioner, after working with so many bodies over the past several years, I have the ability to see energy now too. So I can understand that, what she's talking about, like being able to see energy blocks or feel them or however you want to talk about it. But in her case, right, she has this scientific knowledge behind seeing when she sees an energy block.
So what I'm hearing, I think, is that you both see energy. You both see various kinds of energy, blocks and pathways and whatever you call, however you describe these energies. And you both have different ways to make them more radiant, to make them come alive, to enhance them,
to help them just flow, right? To like
help
release
them
the
flow.
stuckness so that the energy is flowing.
I see. Okay. Got it. Because you're doing this through touch and she's doing it through medicine.
Yes, Dr. Bag is like extensive and much more than even a traditional naturopathic doctor because she has the erotic side to it as well. So she's really bringing in a lot of different skill sets when she is assessing someone's energetic well-being.
Wow. Yeah, fascinating. Okay, I'm thinking of this like old-fashioned doctor bag that I got once that sat in my basement for a long time because I just couldn't resist buying it at this garage sale in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin.
I feel like, role play. I feel role play happening.
I should have kept it and given it to Arianna. And do you know the only thing in this doctor kit was a tiny little glass antique that was, in fact, I had checked, this piece was, in fact, for a fake eye. It's to put your fake eye in.
Whoa!
Isn't that so crazy? Anyway, just going down a doctor path there. Okay, really exciting. New roommate, Arianna, opening up your world to a different way to take care of your body. And really just, she's also, it seems like, weaving this connection between mental energy, physical energy, emotional energy.
And erotic.
And erotic energy. Okay.
Both of us consider ourselves erotic wellness practitioners, right? And so she's expressing it differently than I do, but just in the way that there's different doctors and stuff, like we're both working with the erotic. She's adding more to that as well. And it's about our wellness inherently. Because I am such a believer in that to be a whole human, We need to have our physical wellness and our mental wellness, which our society acknowledges, as well as our erotic wellness. And without that, we don't feel whole. We don't feel fully human.
I missed the part of I missed how Arianna connects to the erotic.
So she's also a dominatrix and a tantrika. And so brings in whatever, like, she doesn't limit to like, oh, I'm seeing this person for this thing and this person for this thing. She is like this whole medicine bag and like looks at the person in front of her and says, okay, this is what this person needs in this combination of these things, and doesn't limit herself to saying, I'm only allowed to do these things versus these things.
Got it. Okay. Understood. Okay. What else is going on?
I celebrated Samhain this year in a new way. Samhain is the Gaelic festival that celebrates the Day of the Dead. So it happens around October 31st, November 1st timing. Samhain as a term means summer's end. And while we, celebrate 4 seasons, typically in olden days, it was 2 seasons. It was the harvest or the growing season, which would have been summer. And then it would have been the winter season, which would have been in the dark. And so in the Gaelic tradition, Samhain is summer's end. And then Beltane, which is celebrated around May 1st, is the one that starts, winter's end going into summer. I don't remember what that translates to as a term.
Interesting.
And my teacher on this topic, John Wolfsone, I sat in on a 2-hour workshop with him, and he described the significance of going inward during the winter months. And that there was a ritual that you can do called an ancestors feast. And there's different terms for this, but I'm going to use the term ancestors feast. And I hosted my first one this year. And it was really beautiful. And the concept of an ancestors feast is this time of the year, of end of October into November, even into December. The idea is that the veils are really thin, meaning that the distance between the seen and the unseen world is very thin, like the land of our ancestors, the land of the spirits. And so this is a time, the Ancestors Feast is an opportunity to remember them. And when we remember our ancestors, we're feeding them. It is like a nourishment for them. And it's how, by giving them offerings, right? It's a way of being in relationship to these beings. In the past several years, Dãmsa or Germiane is someone else who's really opened my eyes to the ancestor world. To recognize that we're not walking alone as a human that's alive just because we can see each other, that there are all these spirits that, as Dãmsa says, we have at least 2,500 ancestors walking behind us. For every human on the planet, there's 2,500 ancestors or more.
Wow.
And that these are a huge resource. Luna, the sorceress who lived here last year, would also say that unless we are acknowledging and standing, or if we don't acknowledge the resource that our ancestors are beneath our feet, like we're standing on their shoulders, then we don't feel very stable in this world. And so it's in the past couple of years from these different people that I have had my awareness open to building an intentional relationship with my ancestors. This particular ancestor feast, I was called to co-host it with my witchy friend, Cassie Giggs. And she is a pagan and a witch. And so she brought in some new elements that I learned about. But overall, this is a very sacred dinner. And it's a dinner party. And we had people come over and, and what John said, like the basic inherent rules are that you make a dinner or make a dish that's either the favorite dish of one of your ancestors or a dish from the land of your lineage. And when you're making the dish, you cook it in ritual. So you light a candle and you pour your love and intentions into it. And the important thing is not to taste it, because the first bite is designed to go to the ancestors. So you're just trusting that your cooking is going to turn out okay.
Interesting.
Yes. And in my case, I chose to make cornbread, corned beef and cabbage, which I don't normally make. And so I just had to trust it. And to nod to my Irish ancestors. And then I made ginger snap cookies, which my grandmother Mimea used to make on my Canadian side. And then the other part, so those are the two things that I made. And John had said the other piece of this is that you want to invite in your healed and well ancestors. Not all of our ancestors are healed and well, unless you have enough experience and you feel comfortable calling someone in. And so my grandmother on my dad's side, she took her own life 77 years ago, like a really long time ago, and has not been really mentioned in our family. And after having been in the practice of honoring my ancestors now for a couple of years, I felt called to bring her in. And again, like, was I called? Was my mind calling it? Or was it like the timing? Like, I can't say it was like a conscious decision. It was like, oh, this is what's presenting itself. So I ended up talking to my dad about her and asking if she had any favorite meals. And what he remembered was that she loved to smoke and it was Lucky Strikes. And she liked to have a beer. She was the center of the party. She loved to sing and play the piano and get everyone going. And so I bought a pack of cigarettes and I bought a beer. So I had those for her. And then I bought a fire pit, because the idea is that as the first plate of food, then you offer to the sacred fire. So coming back to Samhain and this festival at summer's end, the community gets together, and so it's, in winter starting, it's going to be cold, and they start a fire, and then everyone from the village would take an ember from that fire and then start the fire in their home. So in this way, there's one fire that goes the whole winter long, and that everyone in the village is connected through the sacred fire.
That's a beautiful story. Wow.
Yeah. And so I bought a fire pit in the backyard, and all of us then had an opportunity to, put our first dish, an offering to our ancestors, into the fire pit. But earlier that day, and I had told my dad that I was doing this, in weeks leading up to it. And that day, I said, oh yeah, I'm doing the ancestors feast today. And he's like, I was just talking to Uncle Jim, my dad's twin. And this was on November 2nd. And he was like, it was our mom's birthday today. So the mother his mother, the one I just said I was calling in, who took her own life. This is the first time I'm hearing it was her birthday on the day for doing this ancestors feast.
Oh my God, that's so crazy.
Yes.
Wow.
So she would have been 123, born in 1902.
What was her name?
And so her name was Dorothy Bridget McNulty Kenny. And she went by Dot. And so I decided I would call her Grandma Dot. My grandpa, Jim, who died 2 years after her from natural causes. But so like my dad's parents have been dead for so long.
Yeah.
And so when I realized it was her birthday that day, then around the fire, I put candles into cookies, the cookies that I made in honor of my other grandmother. So this is a way to like bring these two lines of my lineage together. And then there were 6 of us around the fire, and we smoked cigarettes and drank the beer and sang her happy birthday. And it felt so significant. So, and part of the lesson that John Wolfsone, was saying is that you can feed the ancestors lots of things. You can feed them chocolate, you can feed them alcohol, you can feed them tobacco, flowers, all sorts of things. But really what they're fed off of is the memories and being spoken about. So then the idea was that we sat down for the meal together. Everyone got the food that we were going to eat for ourselves. We did 10 minutes of noble silence where we just sat with our food in silence. And then we started sharing stories. But during that 10 minutes of silence, I just started weeping. And what came through me was this feeling that from my grandma Dot, that she just didn't know it was going to take so long to be remembered. And I really felt like the weight of that, the gift of that, the honoring of her. And it really impacted me. And then the silence broke, and then we all, shared our stories about the meals and the food and the ancestors that we wanted to talk to. And it was really a really, really beautiful evening, and certainly recommend it to others to do. But I will also say that since doing that, I let my family know that I had done this. I started calling Grandma Dot. I told other people, I said, here's Grandma Dot. This is the story. Here's Grandpa Jim. And mentioning them. And I really, this is about, we're like mid-December. So it's been about a month since I did this. My dad has talked about her more than I've ever heard him talk about her, remembering her. Since then, my uncle has passed away. And so he's now become an ancestor. And I feel like a relationship to that, like their mom is now ready to receive them. And I don't know. It feels like when Uncle Jim was passing, like the family was getting together, and I was here in Denver, he was in New Hampshire. And I just had candles lit in vigil, which is what Dãmsa has taught me, and had a picture up of him, and really felt like I was holding point for our family for this relationship to the other side of the veil, which is all new for me. Like, this isn't something I've ever done before. This isn't, other than in the past few years and being taught and exposed to it, really. So it feels beautiful and significant and a real blessing, because I can feel how, especially with my dad and his mom, we've had a lot of great conversations about how his mom was such a great mom, and that we know that like so much of our life is shaped by our childhood, right? And so and like our relationship with our parents, and he had a great relationship with them, and and this all happened when he and Uncle Jim went to college. So they already had left the house. And so there was this, life just started for them in a new way. And so I just really felt the honoring of her being a great mother, and had done her duty in that realm, in that role.
Wow, Bravehearts, let's just take a deep breath. That was it's a lot. It was a big story. It's a very poignant connection that you just created with the other side.
Yeah, it's definitely been part of my journey for the past few years, and this felt like a sweet milestone of the journey.
Do you want to say anything about your dad and where he's at right now, or his experience of his twin passing away?
Yes, my dad just turned 95. His identical mirror twin passed away the week before. And I'm not a twin. I have no idea what that's like, right? To even though my dad has a very much of a comfortable relationship, I would say, with death and heaven and that regard. Who knows what's going to happen? And my dad has really been in it for the past couple of weeks of grief, also of confusion, but also of this beautiful awakening that's happening. And my sense is that Uncle Jim is on the other side being like, yo, bro, let me tell you what this is all about. And it's like giving him downloads.
Right.
Which I'm conveying with the joy that I feel about it, but does not actually get expressed in that same way. Like it's like the learning and the feeling and the receiving of the information is a little bit more confusing for a 95-year-old. But in any case, it's a very special time, and I feel the death. I feel the gift of death. I feel the gift of my uncle's life. It was a life well lived, a life well loved, and that the two of them together created this family of their individual families, and then our overall extended family that has such love for one another and care and appreciation. And I just felt the uniqueness and the gift of all of that, tying that back to that, like they got that from their parents, right? These two people that I've not met who have been gone for so long onto the other side, and yet that's trickling down. So in any case, my dad is in an interesting time right now. I'll probably have another report in 3 months, but it's I would say he's in a little bit of a liminal state.
Yeah. Janelle, I remember you talking about an aha moment or an appreciation of life that you had when your Uncle Jim was struggling in the last few weeks of his life.
Yeah.
And can you share a little bit about that?
Yes. So my Uncle Jim was, and by the way, when he passed, he's still married. Aunt Janet, still alive. They were married for 65 years and in the nursing home together. And Uncle Jim, so my dad is very mobile, doesn't have any assisted devices to use to walk around. And where Uncle Jim, for the past several years, has been in a wheelchair. He is on dialysis 3 times a week. His eyesight had gone a little bit. He was starting to lose his hearing a little bit. And so in a way, right, it was like, oh, maybe it's time kind of feeling. But when he was in the hospital for an infection, and when the time came to ask, they realized his throat had closed and that he was going to need a feeding tube. And so the family was asked whether they wanted to put a feeding tube in. And there was a debate amongst the family. But Uncle Jim ended up being coherent enough to be able to answer. And he said yes. He wanted a feeding tube. And that moment was so significant for me because it showed me how I judged what is the definition of quality of life. And here is this man who, this is his life, he's living it, and he's choosing to keep living. And I felt the deep gift of that, even as he was dying, that he was showing how much life is worth living for, no matter what it looks like. And then ultimately, he still passed away, but that choice point was there. And he also then chose to die as well. He was in choice the whole time.
Beautiful. All right. Janelle, is there anything else you'd like to share for your update?
The other thing that I did this quarter, I've been in 2 different courses. One was Sophie Howell's maker of the Spirit Crown, also a multi-talented artist and coach, in her Language of Empowerment week-long challenge. And the Language of Empowerment talks about how our words are spells and that we invoke the world that is around us. And being in that week-long challenge, I know you're in it right now, Andrea, you just started it, has been so impactful and helping me see how I can seed doubt and possibility of failure and my own sabotage through my language. So I highly recommend that. And so, again, look up sophiehowell.com to learn more about that. But one of the things that then also happened was I'm in another course called Our Dark Divinity, and it is teachings it's a book that's written by Bruce Lyon and Janine Marie. And these teachings are like deeply spiritual for me. They're called the Trans-Himalayan Esoteric Mystery School teachings. A lot of words there. The words don't even really matter because for me, I just am aware that I'm an embodiment of these teachings. And there is an actual in-person mystery school in New Zealand. And twice a year, there's a cohort that meets for 6 weeks. And I have 2 dear friends who were asked to assist at the spring cohort this year. And so they said that to me and I felt myself go, and they said, okay, well, do you want to go? I can feel it. And I was like, well, we'll see. Like, like if the universe wants me to go, it'll like work itself out. And in my head, I'm like, this is 6 weeks. We have podcast recordings. They've got the goddess temple to maintain. I need to make money coming in. Like, this is not a like, plus I have to pay for the actual experience. Right. But then like a day or 2 later, I remember being like, Janelle, this is not how it works. The universe is not the one initiating. It's my desires that initiate. And then the universe responds to me.
Participatory. Yeah.
Yes. And so it's like, do I desire to go? And if I desire to go, then I need to speak that desire out loud. I need to let not only the universe hear it, but I need to let all the people in my world know about it and then the support will come in order for it to happen.
Yeah.
But it was I realized, I remember talking to you, Andrea, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to tell her I want to do this. And I'm going to and that's going to require us to change our schedule. And you're going to have to like accommodate me and all of these things. And I realized I felt the like constriction of like how big the ask was.
Yeah.
And you were like, great.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm like, of course you're going to Haydn.
Yeah. And so the more I speak it out loud, the more people know that I'm going, and I can like, it's just all like aligning. And I still choose to know how the finances and all of that are going to work out, but it doesn't matter in a way because I am trusting as I continue to practice the process. Through an experience with my Dom, I got the message, like a download, that one of the technologies and weapons, if you will, spreading love and freedom throughout the world is having people figure out what it is they want and how to ask for it.
Yes, that's right.
And so, because what it feels like to me is like what I want, this is what it feels like to me now. What I want isn't like the I of me. It's, oh, there's a fabric and that's like a beautiful pattern. And my desire is just my part of that pattern. But in order for the pattern to like play itself out, then it's like my desire is part of a larger fabric of desires.
Beautiful.
And that if I deny myself my desire, I'm denying something else for someone else or from what the universe wants. Like we're all linked together. It can feel sometimes selfish. This is one of the things around like asking for what we want. But I've been really tied into, it's actually selfish if I don't ask. There's a desire that is moving through me that is my heart's desire. Yeah. That feels like really is the truth of me. Then not asking is actually denying the world something that it wants.
Okay. That's fascinating. I'm just like receiving that. This is funny. This is what I have when I'm in conversation now, in short conversation with people as I meet, or like we're not in a space where I'm really going to talk about what I do. This is just what I say. It's like, what do you do? I help people figure out what they want and ask for it. Mm-hmm. And it's such a nice way to just like boil it down to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, what I hear you saying too is you're asking for what you want, and it's also a permission to ask for help.
Yes, because I can't do it alone.
Yeah.
Right. None of my desires can actually happen on their own, right? Like me going to Haydn impacts you. Me going to Haydn impacts Arianna. Me going to Haydn impacts my dad. It impacts my brother. It impacts Sandy. Like everyone is impacted.
Yes.
So they I'm asking for their willingness to help me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really interesting. And I think this is such a big part of, I've just got this kind of, of the permission coaching that I do, which is people are worried like, but if I do this, it's going to impact so many people. So I can't do it. Right. And so it's really reframing that to say, no, you're actually doing this and you're asking them to help and support you to do this.
And we actually receive a gift when we have the opportunity to help someone get their desires and what they want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. There's an interesting nugget there. Beautiful. Okay. Haydn. I don't think you said the word Haydn, but it is called Haydn.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Haydn is the name of the school. It's in New Zealand. I'll be going in the spring and I'll be able to report back.
Yeah.
On it.
Yeah. Beautiful. I'm sure. Okay. Okay. What else? Is that anything else? I think that was it.
I feel pretty complete.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of shit happening in 3 months, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But this is how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing, Janelle. So much to chew on there. And yeah, it's beautiful. I'm also a big fan of Sophie Howell. She's been an amazing coach for me, which I didn't get to say. And gosh, why don't you just do a little like plug for what's going on for your business? Like how can people reach you?
Feel free to reach out. Feel free to check out my website, feelwildlyalive.com.
Mm-hmm.
That is my erotic wellness practitioner site. There's a video on there. It shows how I work with people. I work with monogamous couples and individuals. Mm-hmm. And I help them also. Like I teach touch-based pleasure and intimacy experiences so that people can have an embodied experience of asking for what they want and receiving it.
Beautiful. So that's feelwildlyalive.com.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Janelle. Yay.
And Braveheart, in case you're like, what's she doing in her dating world? Not to worry. Next season, which is starting in just a couple of weeks, is season 6 is how to design a relationship that works. And so I'll tell you all about my unconventional dating life.
Just wait. Thanks, Bravehearts. We'll see you in season 6. Ciao for now. We love you.
Bye. Hey, Bravehearts. Looking for permission?
Work with us. We offer Braveheart coaching.
Follow us on Instagram.
Meet us in real life at a Braveheart conversation.
Subscribe to our newsletter.
Do all this and more at our website, permissiontobehuman.live.